We have developed a peculiar habit when we watch movies today. We take characters originally written to be despised and demand they be misunderstood. Filmmakers and audiences are actively searching for the trauma behind the malice. We want to know exactly what broke a person before they turned cruel, preferring a messy, uncomfortable backstory over a simple monster. You can see this happen to recent live-action fairy tales, but the most aggressive example of this moral rewriting is happening to a story that is centuries old, Aladdin. What began as a straightforward fable about a boy, a magic lamp, and a princess has quietly turned into the ideal testing ground for dismantling traditional ethics. Go into any film discussion forum, and you will find detailed arguments framing the royal vizier, Jafar, as a political pragmatist. Users point out that he is the only person actually trying to manage the city, while the current sultan plays with toys, painting his attempt to take the throne as a necessary coup against an incompetent ruler. By contrast, those same forums re-examine Aladdin's actions through a strict legal lens. He commits false impersonation, lies to a head of state, and manipulates the royal family, all to secure his own economic upward mobility. Independent retellings have pushed this even further. Some recent cinematic adaptations write the Sorcerer as a deeply tragic figure, an orphaned man trying to acquire the ultimate power to reverse his mother's death, blaming the ruling class for her demise. To take a simple children's story and contort it into a dense political drama about class warfare requires a massive amount of empty space. People can project these complex motives onto Aladdin because the foundational text is completely hollow. Most people assume Aladdin is an ancient Arabic legend, firmly rooted in the original 1001 Nights manuscript. It isn't. The story doesn't exist in the original Arabic manuscripts. It was inserted into the text in the early 18th century by a French translator named Antoine Galland. Galland claimed he heard the tale from a Syrian storyteller named Hannah Diab during a visit to Paris. Because there is no original written Arabic document, historians classify Aladdin as an orphan tale. Without a definitive source material to anchor it, the narrative has no strict canon. There is no original author to betray, leaving the characters culturally unprotected and entirely open to reinterpretation. This lack of ownership was tested in federal court in 1993. The Walt Disney Company sued Golden Films, a smaller distributor, over an independent VHS release of Aladdin that hit store shelves around the same time as their own. Disney argued unfair competition. They wanted to legally secure the visual identity and market presence of the Aladdin narrative, preventing competitors from confusing consumers. But the judge dismissed the suit. The court ruled that because the orphan tale exists firmly in the public domain, no single corporation can own the characters or the core plot. Legally cleared, creators took the narrative in wildly different directions. You can read young adult sci-fi novels exploring romantic relationships between a human boy and a shape-shifting genie, or play grim tabletop role-playing games where tomb robbers plunder ancient cursed vaults in the desert. Because it lacks a historical manuscript and enjoys full public domain status, Aladdin operates as a blank canvas. Writers can mold the setting, the tone, and the morals to fit whatever story they want to tell. With all that creative freedom, we have to look at why modern writers consistently use that blank canvas to make the traditional villains sympathetic. As this diagram illustrates, past generations found comfort in rigid logic models with a clear binary between a pure hero and a wicked antagonist. Today, audiences reject that simplicity, preferring a complex, multivariable spectrum that explores the flawed, broken humanity inside the antagonist. This desire for nuance comes directly from our own environment. We navigate social and political landscapes that are incredibly complex, so we expect the media we consume to acknowledge that same gray area. Aladdin remains relevant because it is never finished. Without a rigid original text to hold it back, it functions as a permanent cultural mirror, continuously adapting to reflect the exact moral questions each new generation needs to answer.